Today we will start the fourth lesson, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, written by Shri R. Venkataraman. So before we go into the lesson, let me tell you that this lesson is not a story. It's a kind of essay. Okay. So let us have a brief introduction about Ramaswamy Venkataraman. Okay. So Ramaswamy Venkataraman, that is R. Venkataraman, was a lawyer, independent activist and a politician who served as a union minister of our country, and he was the 8th president of India, and he served as the president of India from 1981 to 1987 to 1992. Okay. So, and he was born in 1910 and belonged to Tamil Nadu. He was also member of the Constituent Assembly, was responsible for drafting the Indian Constitution. Okay, so he served as the President of India from 1987 to 1992. So that is about the brief introduction about Ramaswamy Venkataraman, that is 8th President of India. Okay, so this lesson, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, is an extract. That means it is taken from the message which R. Venkataraman, that is the author, okay, who wrote to the book, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the man and his message. So this is an extract, that means taken from the message which was written by Venkataraman for the book Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the man and his message. So I think you all understood this lesson. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is an extract taken from the message of Dr. Venkataraman, which he had written for the book called Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the man and his message. Okay. And now let us know a short profile of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. B.R.Ramji Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891 in Mao, that is town of Madhya Pradesh, India. He was the son of Ramji Maloji Sakpal and Bhima Bai. His father served in Indian Army at the Mao cantonment, and he became the first Dalit to obtain the college education in India, and eventually earning a law degree and a doctorate for his study and research in law and economics and political science. So B.R.Ramji Ambedkar, popularly known as Baba Saheb, he was an Indian jurist, political leader, philosopher, historian, anthropologist, orator. Orator means a good speaker, economist, teacher, editor, prolific writer, revolutionary and revivalist for Buddhism in India. He started a political party such as Scheduled Caste Federation, Independent Labour Party and the Republican Party of India. And he became the first law minister of independent India. And he also became the chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee. And he is also best known as the principal architect of the Indian Constitution and the champion of Dalit riots. Okay, so for his contribution, he was awarded Bharat Ratna Award in the year 1956. Now let us read the lesson and understand. Okay, first paragraph, it is like this. So, one trait which marked Baba Saheb during his student days and in fact throughout his life was that he was a voracious reader. He had an insatiable thirst for books. He bought books by curtailing his daily needs. In New York, that is, it is said that he had purchased about 2,000 old books, and it is recorded that at the time of the second round table conference in London, he bought so many books that they had to be sent in to India in 32 boxes. So before I explain the words, okay, paragraph, let us understand the meaning of the few words. Okay, voracious. Okay. Voracious means very eager for knowledge. Okay. And one more word, trait. Trait means that a distinguished quality or characteristic. Okay. Then one more word, that is insatiable. Okay, that means which cannot be satisfied. Okay, so these are the words that you have to understand. Voracious means very eager for knowledge. Trait, a distinguished quality or a characteristics. Insatiable, that means which cannot be satisfied. So here, one trait. Trait means one of the characteristics which marked, okay, made Baba Saheb during his school days and in fact throughout his life. That is one of the character which was found during his student life and throughout his life was that he was a voracious reader. Voracious reader means, that means a person who has a thirst for reading. That means to eager for attaining the knowledge. Okay, very eager for knowledge. That means he used to read and read so many books that in order to gain a knowledge. Okay, so he was reading that in order to know, that means in order to understand the society and contribute something for the society. That means to make India better. So such was his eager. That means he used to read and read. He is a voracious reader. It means that he used to have a lot of interest in studying the books. That means in reading the books. Okay. So insatiable. So insatiable means which he cannot be satisfied. That means something which cannot be satisfied. That means he used to read so many books that he was not feeling happy. That means he was not satisfied at all. Okay. So one trait, one of the distinguished character that he had during his student life and throughout his life was that he was a voracious reader. That means he had eagerness to gain the knowledge. That means he had a desire, wish to read the books. Okay, he used to read a lots and lots of books in order to gain the knowledge. So this is one of the trait. So he bought books. Bought, past form of buy. Buy, bought. B-U-Y, buy, bought. B-O-U-G-H-T. So he had so interest in reading the books that he used to curtail. What do you mean by curtail? Cut down. Okay. He used to curtail his daily needs. That means he used to restrict his daily expenditure. That means whatever he was spending on his daily needs, no, he used to curtail. That means he used to restrict. Okay. So in order to buy books, he used to curtail his daily needs. Okay. So this is one of the character you can find in the first paragraph. So one of the characteristic of Dr. B.R.Ambedkar was that he had insatiable thirst for books. He is a voracious reader. That means he was very keen to gain the knowledge, very eager for knowledge. Okay, and in order to fulfill this trait, okay, he used to curtail his daily needs. That means he used to restrict his daily expenditure. Okay, so whatever he used to save from this, he used to spend that money on buying the books. Okay, so to support this, that he is a voracious reader and he had an insatiable thirst for the books, there are two instances, that is two examples to support this statement, that is voracious reader and insatiable thirst for books. So to support these two lines, there are two instances, that is two examples. That is, it is said that he in New York, he is said to have purchased about 2,000 old books. Okay, this line states that it supports the statement that he is a voracious reader. Okay, so what does it say? It says that when he had gone to New York, he purchased 2,000 old books. So this shows his interest in studying the books. And secondly, it is said that when he had visited the second round table conference at London, okay, he had visited London to attend the second round table conference with Gandhiji. Okay, so when he had visited the second round table conference at London, it is said that he had bought so many books that they have to send to India. That means they have to send to India by, that means in 32 boxes. Okay, so these incidents, that is, in New York, he had purchased 2,000 old books, and when he had attended the second round table conference, he had bought so many books that they have to send those books to India in 32 boxes. So these incidents supports that he is a voracious reader. He had an insatiable thirst for the books. So now we'll do the second paragraph. So second paragraph speaks about two important events. That is, it speaks about the 14th amendment of the Constitution. 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the USA, and about the life and work of Mahatma Phule. Okay, so Ambedkar was greatly influenced by two things, that is 14th Amendment of the Constitution of USA and life and work of Mahatma Phule. So now let us see what is this 14th Amendment of the Constitution. So this 14th Amendment of the Constitution tells us that everybody must have an equal right. That means all the citizens should be treated equally, and there should not be any discrimination on the basis of any caste or a creed or a color. Okay, so this was the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the USA. So it states that nobody should be discriminated on the basis of any caste, creed or a color. Everybody should be treated. So Ambedkar was greatly influenced by this 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Okay, and again this amendment tells us that there is a protection. That means protection will be given to even to the slaves. Okay, that means protection will be given to those who are considered as a slaves also. That means who are taken as a slaves during the American Civil War. Okay, I think you all understood. Ambedkar was greatly influenced by this 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the USA. So what does this 14th Amendment says? That it says that everybody should be treated equally. Nobody should be discriminated on the basis of the caste or a color or a creed. And it also gives protection to the slaves. That means those who have been arrested, that means those who have been captured. Okay, slaves. Okay, it gives the protection to the slaves who have been arrested during the Civil War. Okay, so that is about the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. So secondly, he was greatly influenced by the life and the work of Mahatma Phule. That means we will see now, we will go through the textbook. Okay, it is important to record here one major influence on Dr. Ambedkar, which is, that is drawn in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the America, which gave freedom to the black Americans. So this 14th Amendment of the Constitution had greatly influenced Ambedkar, because it gave freedom to the black Americans, and he saw at once the situation for the depressed class in India. So he saw this status of the slaves. That means in America the slaves were protected. Okay, so he thought that this is similar to the depressed class in India. So Britishers considered Dalits, that is Dalits, as a depressed class. So he considered American slaves are equal to the depressed class in India. So that means it says that he was at once the situation for the depressed class. That means he considered the situation, the position of the slaves as equal to the depressed class, Dalit class in India. So he thought that when the 14th Amendment has given the freedom for these people, then why not? Even we can also give the equal position and equal society. That means treat these Dalits equally in the society. So he considered this 14th Amendment of the Constitution has done something favorable to the black Americans, and he also felt that similar to that, even he has to do something for this Dalits in India when he was in America. Okay, so I think you all understood. Next, on returning home, Baba Sahib came to be greatly influenced by the life and the work of Mahatma Phule. So while he was returning, that means after he returned back to India, he was greatly influenced by the work and the life of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. And you all know that Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, social reformer and who helped in making society better. Okay, and that is he wanted to make a classless society, and he also worked for the upliftment of the women. Okay, so Ambedkar was greatly influenced by Mahatma Phule. Why? Because he worked for the classless society, and also he worked for the upliftment of the women. What do you mean by upliftment of the women? That means he worked for the equal status of the women in the society. That means for the women rights. He worked for the women rights. So these two had greatly influenced Ambedkar. That is 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which gave freedom for the blacks, and second one is life and work of Mahatma Phule, who worked for the upliftment of the women and also for the establishing the classless society. And the need as well as the feasibility to reform impressed itself on Baba Sahib's mind, and he decided to devote all his time and talent for the amelioration of his underprivileged brethren. That means after he was greatly influenced by these two things, what did he do? He decided that he has to devote his life. That means he wanted to devote his time and life for the sake of the people. So what did he do? Okay, so he started a newspaper, okay, such as Mukanayaka, Bahishkrita Bharata and Samata. So after he was greatly influenced by those two events, what did he do? He decided to devote his life for the sake of the society. So he started rendering his service to the society. How? He started through his writings. Okay, so for that, firstly he started writing, and he brought the newspapers. What are those newspapers? Mukanayaka and Bahishkrita Bharata and Samata. So he started the newspapers and he began to write there. Okay, likewise he also set up the institution, okay, that is called as a Hitakarani Sabha, and he also started the Independent Labour Party. Okay, so these things, they became the vehicle of change. That means through these things he worked for the reform. That means he began to reform the society. Okay, next, it is said that during the same time Gandhiji was also pioneered his epic reform of Indian society. Even at the same time, even Gandhiji also started to reform the Indian society, which he also decided to uplift the depressed class. That means even he also thought to work for the upliftment of the depressed class. That means for the Dalits, okay, which Gandhiji had termed as Harijans, where Gandhiji had called these Dalits as a Harijans. So I think you all understood. This paragraph speaks that Dr. Ambedkar was greatly influenced by the two things, that is 14th Amendment of the Constitution and the life and the work of Mahatma Phule, who worked for the upliftment of the woman and to establish a classless society. So after that, he decided to devote his life for the sake of this depressed class, that is for the Dalits, and he contributed like in the form of writing. That means he began to reform this class by in the form of writing. That is, he started writing the newspapers. The names of the newspapers are Bahishkrita Bharata, Samata and Mookanayaka. And he also established an institution called as Hitakarani Sabha. So later on, at the same time, even Gandhiji also started his reform, that means to reform the Indian society and also work for the cause of the upliftment of the depressed class, that is Dalit class, whom he called them as a Harijan.